been too long since we've done a free-for-all. And this one's especially cool because our Keiron player is a grandmaster. I haven't turned on the game just yet. I want to make sure we all have a chance to get oriented. There's no King of the Hill feature on this map, no points to worry about. It's a pure elimination game. I call this Fortnite style because you'll see there's a clock in the top left. It's called the pumpkin puree to fit the autumnal theme they've got going on here. When that runs out, the lava expands and takes hold, and it works outside in. And so for that reason, the real estate in the center of the map becomes more valuable. There's also 4 gold bases on the map. You can bet those are high value as well. And 4 more on islands. We're essentially looking at a cast of some of the very top Russian and Ukrainian players out there today. We'll go clockwise here. Our Terran player in blue, playing for Berserker Esports. Hailing from Russia, he is MilkiCow!
Nothing to it.
Lurking to the south of MilkiCow is the Terran in fuchsia. You may know and love him as Kaz, but today he's playing as Elkasito!
Bring it!
Our next player in the bottom right also hails from Russia. He's normally a Grandmaster Zerg player, but today he's playing the Keiron. I guess that's just what he's gotta be! The pink Zerg in the bottom left is a 17-year-old player playing for Team CSO Esports. He is YoungYakov! And he is next to our first protoss player, an 18-year-old player from Russia playing for Team Hazu Players. He is Youngstar!
Let it begin.
Next, in purple, is a Zerg player from the Ukraine. Put your tentacles together for Sunset! Our dark purple Protoss doesn't care what you think about his color selection, because he's Shamless!
Power overwhelming.
And our final player is the red Protoss from Russia. He is most certainly DefMars!
Time for battle.
And with that, let's get this game on. We've started the clock. As with every good FFA, alliances will be key. You know me, I'm a big fan of fly under the radar and only fight when you have to. But there is many a game where that's the losing strategy. My limited experience with the Eastern European scene, though, has shown me that there's a lot of aggression, so I don't think we're gonna see a lot of wallflowers today. If you successfully rush the guy next to you, you double your real estate. That's gonna set you up very well against the other 6 players in the game. Alright, we have our opening depots, pylons, and overlords. Of course, our Keiron player doesn't need supply structures. B can go ahead and get the jump on everybody by making an edifice as soon as he gets 225 minerals. Youngstar is gonna be the first to scout with his probe. He's gonna figure out that Sunset playing Zerg is just north of him, and he's quickly gonna go and put his gateway down. He's not gonna see a spawning pool because Sunset has gone hatch first. I think that's riskier than in a 1v1 game. Sunset's got Protoss on both sides of him, and they're both gonna scout him out right away. The Protoss Youngstar, though, is gonna be scouted by the Zerg YoungYakov. That's right, we've got double Youngs. A young Protoss and a young Zerg. Hopefully some of you guys recognize MilkiCow from when I casted him recently. He brought us a fantastic game. And we know he has experience playing against the Keiron. So he shouldn't be too stunned by B's units in this game. Milky's Terran neighbor to the south, Elkasito, is quickly going to expand. And so is B. Nobody's one basing here. Possibly Youngstar and DefMars still. They're both teching up, not making units. Youngstar might be a tad nervous about the Overlord floating in his base. Perhaps the Overlord's just whispering an offer of an alliance. Oh, I think our first combat unit comes from B. He's got a Volt out on the map. He's sending it out too. If you're not familiar, that 2-legged cutie patootie has a ranged attack. Not a lot of health, but boy can those things shoot when you bunch them up. YoungYakov's Lings are chasing Youngstar's probe. Let's call the bottom left corner the Young Zone. B's Volt's gonna find Elkasito's empty bunker. The Volt's already lost his shields and there's a second Marine on the way. I think Elkasito just pinned him in there. Youngstar's probe is running home. It looks like the 4 players on the south side of the map are engaged in conflict, while the 4 on the north are playing it quiet. Oh, can B actually get his Volt out of there? Oh, he killed a Marine. That's an even trade. B trades out and gets the scout. He'll take that. And Youngstar's early adept defends the Zerglings. But there's roaches coming behind it. Looks like YoungYakov is going to be our first real aggressor here. Youngstar definitely looks like he might be a Zerg sandwich. Oh, Milky going at DefMars. Each base is connected by a backdoor corridor which can be accessed by Reapers. The jetpack provides access to the protoss main mineral line. DefMars has to use his probes to fight them off. That would be a bigger advantage for our Terran players if they didn't wind up stashed next to each other. I also wonder if the Terran ability to lift off their buildings is going to come into play in this game because of the lava. But that is still 20 minutes away, and right now we've got a Roach Ravager rush to keep tabs on. Youngstar does have a shield battery ready, but he's not gonna like going up against Roach Ravager with just adepts. Oh, he's got 1 Stalker now. YoungYakov is just streaming units. It's a full commitment. Probes are being called out to defend. Meanwhile, we did see that B is sending a battery of Volts over to attack Elkasito's Terran. They've slipped in behind the mineral line at the natural. Battery overcharge for Youngstar. That comes just in time. The Ravager dies. And the Stalkers are gonna try to kite their way out of this. If Sunset attacks from the north, he is doomed. Cass is building a wall to protect his main. Has he conceded his natural? No, the Marines are gonna try to flush those Volts out. Oh, I don't think B was looking. There are pariahs there. But they are like Tiffany, they are alone now. The young battle continues. YoungYakov still chipping away. Youngstar still holding. Youngstar just fighting for his life because he knows first player out, I'm gonna make a graphic for that. Youngstar just refusing to be that graphic. He's driving the Zerg back. Elkasito has recovered his natural. Except that MilkiCow just sent over a Banshee to rip up his SCVs. Elkasito getting double teamed. Though his attackers may not know it. Oh, Sunset sending Zerglings south. That's gonna be the end of Youngstar, I think. Elkasito produces a Viking to deal with the Banshee, but then it cloaks. There is no energy for a Comstat. Elkasito dropped a mule. He's not pulling his SCVs. The Banshee is low on cloak energy. And our protoss to the north are no longer being wallflowers. Shamless. He is the last player to see combat, but he brings his Void Rays to attack DefMars. There's the Comstat. Elkasito gets the kill on that Banshee as MilkiCow stays out just a tad too long. Oh, Shameless's Void Rays pulled back. Did he do enough damage to justify ticking off his neighbor? Oh, Youngstar mounting a counter assault on YoungYakov. Notice that as a result of all this fighting, he's the one player still stuck on one base. YoungYakov makes speedlings to counter the Stalkers. They have blink researched. I guess if you don't expand, you do something with your money. It's a recall. For whatever reason, it looks like Sunset did not attack Youngstar. I had predicted Youngstar would get crushed in between the 2 Zergs. Did not happen. MilkiCow making life difficult for DefMars. We are gonna hit the 6-minute mark and none of our 8 players have been eliminated. That's kinda cool. Youngstar's gonna expand right under Sunset's Overlords. I wonder if they've got a non-aggression pact going, because those Lings seem to have turned right back. Shameless sees the battery overcharge and realizes this is not the fight location for him. Is that multiple Elysiums for B? I've never seen that before. Those let the Keiron shape in meridians. Oh, B's actually gone for triple Elysium. I've never seen this. It's like usually a support unit. B's like making it the core of his army. Elkasito tech jumping up to a fusion core. We've seen battle cruisers be really tough to beat in an FFA before. Shameless breaks down the rocks outside of his main. That's gonna give him access to that gold base. He could be the first player to get access to those juicy gold minerals. Or is that pylon for a forward shield battery array? DefMars is gonna break down his rocks, but I don't think he knows he's actually been beaten to the punch. Oh, it looks like we could be treated to the next wave of the young battle. No, YoungYakov changes his mind, brings it home. Elkasito getting some revenge on MilkiCow. An auto turret forces an SCV pull. Milky's still got his Cyclone though. A Raven and a Viking can't really deal with that. Yeah, he's gonna reclaim his natural right away. YoungYakov amassing units on Youngstar's border. Oh no, mass shield batteries. DefMars needs to know about that before it completes. He doesn't have vision of it. Having vision outside of your base is every bit as important in an FFA as it is in one-on-one. B setting down the static defense. YoungYakov making Ravagers. Probably doesn't want to deal with another battery overcharge. Shamless now has a terrific fallback position. There's only a single pylon on that shield battery array. Maybe DefMars wants to risk focusing that down. It's Young Battle Part 3. A warping of additional stalkers. Youngstar has a photon cannon. Force fields go up, corrosive biles go down. Oh, the photons survived. YoungYakov was looking to retreat, but then the stalkers blinked forward. Oh, B's gonna get free access to the gold at the south. YoungYakov is way too busy to be keeping an eye on this. I like B's position a lot. Both his neighbors are fighting other neighbors. Those rocks are not attacking the meridians, by the way. It's a weird default ability called Sycophant. They suck life force from their opponents. It's like an energy vampirism. It enhances their energy score, which means they've got more energy to fire off those lightning bolts. YoungYakov rushes home to defend his main. Holy Toledo! The Zerg forces just get annihilated. Every one of those lightning bolts bounces to 2 additional targets. 100 damage and then 50-50. I never really thought about how much that adds up when you stack them. Oh, YoungYakov is in so much trouble. B's got 30 more workers than his Zerg opponent, and there's no army left to oppose him. He doesn't even need the lightning bolts. He can just suck the life out of the units as they get built. Oh, Youngstar had a hallucinated Phoenix fly over to see what happened to his Zerg opponent. That's important intel, because he could be next. Elkasito's got his first battlecruiser out. Oh, I do not like DefMars' position. Shamless is now going to take the gold right in front of him. Oh, Elkasito's battlecruiser's going at B, shutting down what could be his second gold expansion. I think that's huge, because unopposed, B's about to become a very dominant force on this map. I guess the immediate drama, though, is YoungYakov about to be the first to be eliminated from this game? B's island citadel is about to collapse. Oh, Sunset has an infestation pit. I mean, Sunset's got 4 bases, including the gold. He's a bit of a powerhouse himself here. B's citadel falls, but he's gonna bleed this hatchery dry like a husk. Oh, no, MilkiCow, what are you doing, man? He's about to attack Elkasito. Elkasito's providing a very important public service. He's attacking B. There's kind of a weird phenomenon going on right now where every player feels compelled to attack in a clockwise direction. Is it some kind of FFA mental phenomenon? Elkasito's last battlecruiser has to jump away to save his own base. But can he, or is MilkiCow's attack decisive? Those Stim Marines are just gonna ravage his base. So if everybody pulls back counterclockwise to defend, then maybe, just maybe, YoungYakov gets to live. Elkasito is now vying for the role of the first contestant to get voted off the island. This is actually unbelievable to me, but it's actually Youngstar who has the least resources lost right now. And he was the first guy to get attacked in this game. He's only lost 10 units. How does that compute? Sunset has 38 mutas. He is the first to max out, but he's just sitting back, biding his time. MilkiCow pulls back. Elkasito's gonna live for at least another 30 seconds. It looks like B is no longer interested in killing YoungYakov. He might have decided Elkasito's the real threat here. Ugh, Tempest over shield batteries. That is the worst thing to have to defend against. Shamless is just slowly making life a living hell for DefMars. Oh, but now Sunset's going after Shamless. It's a non-clockwise attack. It's counterclockwise. Oh, and that's going to potentially take the pressure off of DefMars. It is. Shamless has to pull back everything to deal with the cajillion mutas in his base. I think he's got enough, but does he? Although they look like it, Tempests do not actually do splash. Shamless is discovering he's not so tough without his shield batteries. For whatever reason, B's decided to let YoungYakov live. Perhaps a silent alliance has been formed. He's made YoungYakov his servant, and now he'll get himself a gold base. Shamless has just gone from the top to the bottom. All his units have just been ravaged. And if DefMars sees the moment and piles on top of him, he's in real trouble. Youngstar's picking up an island gold. Youngstar's a real dark horse in this game. He had one of the slowest starts, but he's looking pretty good now. Oh, B's gonna fortify his new gold with a bazillion turrets. Sunset is ravaging Shamless's tech unopposed. That is a bad sign. I would never have picked Shamless to be first to go out of this game, but it seems like it could be possible. What on earth? Those are Sunset's lings. They're on move command. He's not attacking Youngstar. He's just trying to get past him. I think those two are clearly allied in spirit, if not in fact. He wants to take out YoungYakov? No, he's going past the Zerg. What is this, like a world scouting tour? Youngstar's trying to squeeze his units out of the way so they'll stop attacking the lings. Oh, he decides to stop and go after B. I think Sunset just figured out who the second biggest kid on the block was and decided to go at him. That or he's just suiciding his lings, trying to get himself some cap space. Youngstar still hasn't lost another unit. Sunset has stopped beating on Shamless and now he's going at B. Will the Mutas take out the Meridians? Well, first they'll have to deal with all the Stratus. Those are deadly air turrets. I don't know if it's been researched, but the Meridian have a storm-like splash attack called Convergence. It would be really effective against Mutas. And we may not find out because Sunset has left. Doesn't look like he's going home though. The Mutas are continuing their world tour. Though thanks to B's Meridians and Stratus, there's a lot less Mutas than there was before. Oh, MilkiCow intercepts the Mutas. Why did he want that job? That might have just been bad timing. Milky's army gets crushed. And now the Mutas are eyeing his base. This is really something. We're about to hit the 14-minute mark and no player's been eliminated. In fact, we're about 5 minutes away from the Grand Pumpkin Puree. We're gonna have to see how that works exactly. Oh, B's gonna make Elkasito pay for attacking his gold base. I don't think Elkasito has the firepower to oppose him. But maybe you can try to persuade him to move on? That lightning is so deadly. Do you think it's not that deadly because Snipe does 170 and Lightning does 100? But what I'm missing is how the Meridians keep recharging their energy. All that disco purple suction, that's giving the Meridians more and more energy, which means more and more lightning. And all the while, their shields regenerate like the protoss, and their health goes up like the zerg. The Meridians have been like fighting all game, and look how fresh they are. There we go, tank hits. Tank hits can do something, or they could until they got hit with lightning. Ah, our players are starting to think about the lava. MilkiCow is at least. He's looking to move into the center. There's very little minerals there to supply your forces, but it has this extra perk. You don't get swallowed by lava. It's a pretty good perk. They should start offering that with all their employment packages. That's right, if you work for us, you'll get a base salary, a dental plan, and you won't burn in eternal fire. You know what? I just can't pass up an employment opportunity like that. Okay, tell me that Youngstar and Sunset aren't allied. They're actually sharing minerals. This is an FFA, guys. You're not fooling anybody. So, just so I could be wrong for like the 10th time, it looks like Elkasito is going to be the first to go. The Zerg YoungYakov has been rebuilding. Here's the liftoff. Did I mention that the Meridian's drain ability affects things in the air as well? I guess the question is, can Elkasito find somewhere to hide some of his buildings? The pumpkin puree is 3 minutes away. The mini-map looks like a beautiful flower. I've watched a lot of crazy games, but this has got to be up there. Maybe B will let Elkasito live like he did YoungYakov. Our pink Zerg YoungYakov is actually back up to 3 bases. And speaking of comebacks, look who's rebuilt. Shamless. He's completely rebuilt a new carrier army with the mothership, and he's going back at Sunset. Sunset's gotta have regrets over not having finished the job. And speaking of revenge, it's the Young War Part 12. Youngstar is going at YoungYakov now. And B is still sucking the last remnants of life out of Elkasito. Less than 2 minutes until we have map action, people. Sunset is not engaging those carriers. But I guess as long as he's killing stuff in the outer rim of his base, it's not as big a deal. Sunset was going to have to rebuild all of that in the center of the map anyway. And Sunset pretty much vacuumed up all the minerals there anyway. Where are B's Meridians off to? Is he chasing down the last of his buildings? Elkasito's been officially revealed. But that's not the same thing as being eliminated. Oh, there's converters killing his last supply depots. Oh, B's Meridians just got distracted. They found Milky. I don't think Milky can stand against that army either. I think it's gonna take something with long range, like tanks or Colossi or Tempest maybe. These Meridians are just getting so much energy, which means more lightning bolts. Milky's gonna try Marines. Less than a minute to go and it looks like the sun is setting on Sunset. But he's actually got a massive army still. He's holding all those mutas back. Elkasito has exactly 0 units. Milky tries to run away from B, but gets no sympathy from DefMars. No, he's gonna let him. DefMars and Milky are gonna do a little team up here. I guess it's bygones over that Reaper rush. Or perhaps any ally is better than no ally. Oh, the pumpkin puree's about to happen. 3, 2, 1. Well, that was kind of underwhelming. Oh, we do have some lava streaming in here. The terrain is definitely changing. Nuki's trying to fire off nukes to deter those Meridians. So the map's looking kind of funny, and the north and south gold bases have been completely swallowed. That's a big hit on B and especially on Shamless. That was that massive shield battery array he was using to attack DefMars. It's just all going up in smoke. And now there's a nuke countdown timer and it's only got 4 minutes and change left on it. Oh, the lava claimed the last of Elkasito. He's the first to be eliminated, and then there were 7. Nobody wants to be that guy, but somebody had to do it. Oh, Sunset and YoungYakov have broken up. The lava doesn't just kill buildings, it kills friendships. How could you let bubbling fire come between our relationship? Sunset's in a really tough spot though. He's got powerful protoss on both sides of him. And they're probably both gonna want the real estate that he's got in the map center. Oh yeah, he's totally getting attacked on both sides. Oh, but will Youngstar and Shamless now square off in a carrier battle? I could see them both coming out the loser if they do. Somehow MilkiCow survived. B is rebuilding his base in light of the recent volcanic renovation. That's kind of a risky spot there. Don't know how long those minerals will last. Oh, Milky's still trying nukes. This is probably a bad time to mention that the Meridians can actually act as detectors as well. It costs them a lot of energy, so you don't see it too often, but B's got energy to spare. He's really been teaching me how to use the Meridian. There is clashes everywhere now. There's just not enough space to hold 7 players. DefMars has kind of planted a whole bunch of cannons and shield batteries right in the center of the map. That's a good spot to be long term, but he's like in everybody's face. Milky also trying to build that center map position. Perhaps 1,000,000 missile turrets could help him against all those carriers. Shamless says no to DefMars' center map position. Look how he just chews it up. There's just so much DPS in there. And without that, I think DefMars just became even more vulnerable to the next lava expansion. Milky's using EMPs on the Meridians. And nukes, that's so smart. B sees it, he's backing off. Actually, he's building underneath it. No, it was an old command. He's canceling. Maybe Milky can just keep nuking to keep everyone away from him. Remember, nukes do extra damage to buildings, and that's what everybody's trying to do right now. Get some buildings going. Running out of buildings is how you get eliminated in this game. Oh, he's going right into the nuke. Oh, he killed the ghost. Oh, that could have gone spectacularly wrong, but B pulled it off. He used a beholder spell to find the ghost and then zapped it with a lightning bolt. So at this point, it's YoungYakov and DefMars that I'm really worried about. They've got no center map presence and I'm not sure how they can get one. So time is not in their favor. That's actually Sunset though. He's building hatches in random places. He's been decimated by the protoss and he's just trying to survive. Maybe we can do a quick supply check here. So it's the Keiron and the 3 protoss that are near max. Both zerg are on life support and then the final terran Milky's kind of in the middle. But he's in trouble because B's just slowly building towards him. The 3 protoss all seem to have a bit of a non-aggression pact going on, or at least they have the good sense not to go head-to-head in a carrier battle. It's usually mutually assured destruction. Oh, it looks like Milky's starting to run out of options here. Good EMPs. Oh, and we're overdue for another lava expansion. Who's feeling the heat now? Shamless is gonna lose his main, and so is DefMars. YoungYakov loses his main. Can he survive that? Oh, just a colossal number of B's buildings get swallowed. But most of that was edifices and he's not making volts anymore. Okay, this map is definitely too small for 7 players. It's probably too small for 4. So yeah, we've hit the 22-minute mark and things are looking pretty orange. Oh, if Milky could manage to land just one nuke. No, he just decides to leave. That's gonna put him at number 7. And that's good news for B because it's gonna open up some real estate for him to inhabit. There we can see Milky's nuke silos were burning off. Once he lost those, there wouldn't be much more that he could do. Youngstar cleaned out YoungYakov's 3rd. I think this ends the Young War. I think that burning lair is the last building Zerg has. I don't think creep tumors count. I think both Zerg's strategy at this point is just hope nobody takes notice of them. But Youngstar did not forget what YoungYakov tried to do to him in the early stages of this game. Oh, big clash! Youngstar versus Shamless, overlapping time warps. It's a Venn diagram of destruction. There must be over 100 interceptors going at it in there. Just imagine the chaos. Somebody's still got a mothership in there. It's Shamless. All those carriers are feeling very intercepted right now. How is that mothership surviving? Oh, there it goes. So Youngstar actually had detection in there, and he went after all the carriers first and left the mothership to the end. That's smart. The mothership's bringing a lot less DPS to the table. But normally you gotta deal with the mothership first, because you have to address the cloak. DefMars is gonna try to quietly take the center again. And B is gonna not so quietly try to take the right-hand side of the map. It's tapioca pudding everywhere. He's even making a citadel. Looks like he's making both nullifiers and stratuses. He's gonna want air turrets to deal with all those carriers. That would be Sunset's sole remaining hatchery. But now that Youngstar's Dark Templar's ripping that down, he's gonna be building more. B says no to DefMars' further attempt to take the center. I love that he didn't even bother to make cannons this time, just shield batteries. Oh, neither Youngstar nor B want to have a fight. Maybe that's DefMars' strategy. Build structures in the center and lure his opponents into attacking each other. Hatch falls, but neither Zerg player's been eliminated. Where are they hiding their last hatches? Oh, they're actually living together. One of those is Sunset and the other one's YoungYakov. But either way, Youngstar's DT has found them. DefMars is hiding his huge army in the back, hoping no one finds them. At this point, we're really down to 4 players, with 2 Zerg players with no units. 3 protoss and a Keiron. Shamless has given up on carriers. His new composition is all Tempest all the time. They do bonus damage against massive, and you guessed it, carriers are massive. They also offer superior range. Sunset's trying to sneak off with a few drones. He is a tenacious rebuilder. But wow, look at B, how entrenched he is. Has he just sealed up the game? Nobody wants to face his meridians. And he's got far more turrets on the center platform than any other player. Oh, we have lava expansion. How bad's it gonna be? Oh, DefMars is gonna lose a base. He's down to 1, and it's practically mined out. So he's down to 1 max supply army plus whatever he's got in the bank. B gets fried as well, but he's really relocated at this point. Youngstar's actually got resources to mine. He's kind of sitting pretty. Though yeah, he's losing a lot of structures here. In hindsight, maybe this wasn't the right planet to try to colonize. Shamless is taking a hit too. Technically, he's got 3 more bases, but he's mined out too, except for scraps. His position is not as good as Youngstar or B's. But I do like his composition. Oh, it's a probe fight. Shamless versus DefMars. DefMars decided to put down a pylon yet again. There is not a lot of land left on the board, certainly not a lot of usable land. I think DefMars is kind of out of luck on the next lava expansion. I love how he's just gonna let the probes fight it out. His massive carrier army refused to lift a finger. And as usual, the lava expansion has inspired some action. Shamless wants to test out his Tempest on Youngstar's carriers. I don't know if he's got enough though. Maybe if he keeps kiting and softening Youngstar up. Oh, he's got tectonic destabilizers on. I feel like he's settled on a really good endgame unit. I just don't know that he's got enough of them to really be the front runner. Oh, he's even added in the oracles for extra vision. That would be DefMars trying to expand again. This time he's actually bringing his army to cover his expansion. I think he really wanted to keep his army hanging back, but the lava kind of had something to say about that. And now he's got B's attention. It looks like B's run out of money. I think we're looking at him in his final form. That final form is pretty scary though, and potentially game winning. Looks like he spent the last of his money on citadels in the center. DefMars feels a bit like a poker player with no money left who's forced to pay the big blind. He's got to go all in whether he wants to or not. There's lava behind him, B in front of him. Sunset is trying to rebuild. I don't know if he means to, but he's building a protective wall around YoungYakov. Youngstar's in the lead statistically. He's got the biggest supply and the biggest bank. But it's Shamless who wants to try to take on B. I didn't even notice there's an Aegis on that citadel. Shamless almost killed it, but then it went shield active. And then there's Meridians inside prepared to fire lightning bolts. DefMars joins the fight. It's everybody on B. 3 Protoss versus Keiron. This is really cool, but that shield is gonna time out. Everyone's just waiting for it. No, Shamless decides to go back to attacking DefMars. The unholy alliance of Protoss only lasted 15 seconds. I don't think any single Protoss can tackle B. They need an alliance. Actually, B needs an alliance. This has become a very social game. Who's ever isolated will get killed. And if one of our big 4 gets killed, they're gonna go out of the game before the 2 hiding zerg. Somebody needs to hunt those zerg down and finish them. Everybody's just kind of circling. Nobody wants to throw their army away. Shamless one-shots the Aegis. I do not believe B has the money to remake it. Oh, YoungYakov was eliminated. He comes in 6. It was Youngstar. He decided to settle the Young War once and for all. He flew over Sunset and vanquished his old foe. Meanwhile, Sunset's managed to get out infestors. He's hoping that will somehow deter these massive armadas. Another round of lava expansion. This could spell doom for DefMars. His only real estate is now that tiny little base camp he's set up in the top center. And it is way too uncomfortably close to the Keiron. I can't believe Sunset is rebuilding. He's really coming back from nothing. We are down to 5, and it looks like B's leading the pack, or possibly Youngstar. They're actually tied on supply. And then next I like Shamless, because I really like his Tempest composition. That and he has real estate. DefMars does not have a lot in the way of structures right now. And the lightning bolts are just slicing into his carriers. He's got to retreat, but if he does, his buildings are forfeit. DefMars is in so much trouble. The Meridians are swarming over his remaining buildings. He's got to defend that. Oh, I thought for a second B was going to leave that, but no. That's it for DefMars. All of his other buildings are in the lava. Does he have a probe? Can a probe put down a pylon somewhere, anywhere? He's just going to charge with his army because he's only got seconds to live. So DefMars is going to come in 5th. Somehow our Zerg player Sunset is going to outlast him. I think we have to credit B with another kill, because really it was the Keiron who took out the buildings that mattered there. There's the GG. After 30 minutes, we are down to the final 4. 2 Protoss, 1 Keiron, and 1 Zerg. Shamless really using the power of range to slowly push the Keiron back. Oh, that Citadel's energized. There's a lot of lightning bolts available. But B is being so careful because every unit he loses is one he will not be replacing. Sunset is slowly building up energy on his infestors. If he could get a killer chain fungal off, maybe he takes down a golden armada. He could totally fungal those Meridians, but I don't think he wants to make enemies right now. Youngstar has observers, Shamless does not. And B has flaming Meridians. They can definitely detect infestors when they're burrowed. It's a 3-way fight. B retreats to his static defense. There's a huge amount of caution with the final 4, but I think the lava's gonna have something to say about that. I can't believe how big a factor Sunset has become in this. Oh wow, talk about jinxing somebody. B just blew away all his infestors. He's only got 2 left. B's got 50 Meridians, including one whose head is on fire. The lava has created 4 island bases, and I'm pretty sure they're gonna be the next to go. Shamless gets a pylon to stay up, and he's gonna make himself a photon flower. I don't know where he got the money from, because he's not pulling any more minerals. Youngstar still got a trickle coming in, but that's pretty much it. For all intents and purposes, this map is mined out. We'll see if the extra money that Youngstar's pulling in could be a difference maker. Oh, perhaps not, because B has found it and dropped a Meridian on his island. Should be easy for him to swing his carriers back and deal with a lone Meridian, though. Oh, those cannons actually got up. That's big for Shamless. I'm starting to feel a bit of a vibe for Shamless here. I kind of had him pegged as a distant third, but maybe he could pull this out. Youngstar has over 1,000 minerals in his bank now. He's supply blocked, so he's probably not going to spend it. More likely to save it for a rainy day when he needs it, which is probably going to come. Whoa, did I guess wrong? It wasn't the islands that got burned. The lava advanced on the mainland. Sunset is right up against the fire. This always inspires desperation combat. B knows he's about to lose a ton of stuff. He's gonna make a move. Lightning all over the photon flower. That lightning bolt bounces to 2 adjacent targets, doing 50 damage to each of these secondary targets. So when B shoots like 4 of them, those secondary hits are up to like 200 damage. Basically, he destroys all kinds of stuff that he wasn't even aiming at. Oh, Youngstar lost a ton of stuff. He needs a new foothold. But there's nowhere you can build without building next to a neighbor. Oh, the infestor neuroparasited a probe. Make it build something, make it build something. No, he's using it to attack its own pylon. That's kind of cool, but it'd be even cooler if he used the probe to spend all his opponent's money. Make a whole bunch of pylons, and then he wins the game because of those pylons. I can't believe how long it's been since I've seen a probe under neural parasite. Oh, big clash, Youngstar going at B. Shamless trying to get in there. I think the protoss are trying not to hit each other, but they're not having a lot of success. Oh, B going right at Shamless. Oh, he just unloads the lightning. Youngstar sees a moment. He's going at B. Shamless, GG's out. It's B versus Youngstar. With Sunset's 2 infestors watching. B is running out of lightning. He's not gonna let B recharge his batteries. He's going all in. But there's so many Stratuses killing the interceptors. Who's got this? The Meridians are vanishing. There were 50 a minute ago. I don't see any now. B is supply blocked. Youngstar's way ahead with supply of 79. Sunset's moving into position to backstab here, I think. Or is he gonna ride his ally to the end here? The Stratuses, the air turrets are getting cleared out. Once they're gone, then there's nothing left to oppose the carriers. Well, 2 infestors, I guess. I think B's done. He's not shaping in units. He's got no money to do so. He's got a bunch of Oculus for terrific map vision, but I don't think that's gonna help him. 2 Stratus left. 1 down to the last one. B no longer has air defense of any kind. Youngstar has this game. Oh, Youngstar lost his observers though. That means it's conceivable, though very unlikely, that Sunset could pull off some kind of upset with his buried infestors. It's pretty unlikely, but he's definitely thinking about it. I think he wants Youngstar to finish off B first, and B is happy to do it. B does still have that island base though. Sunset makes his move. He knurls a carrier. Youngstar's got to see the problem now. He doesn't have any detection. Another carrier gets captured. He has no way to retaliate unless he wants to kill his own units. Or he's got to ignore the infestors and take out the zerg structures. He kills off Shameless structures, but he's already left the game. Oh, B still got a Meridian on Youngstar's island. Oh, Youngstar's swinging south. I think he's solved the puzzle. He's figured out how to deal with those burrowed infestors. You don't. You just gotta eliminate the zerg structures. A task that carriers are very well suited towards. Yeah, no detection for Youngstar, unless we count those 2 photon cannons, which aren't helping him right now. Okay, this is a bit of an anticlimactic mop-up now. Oh! The lava's gonna spare us. Who dies first, Sunset or B? Sunset's far worse. He's down to a final infestation pit. Youngstar loses his island base, but I don't think he cares. Oh, B energizes his burning citadel. He's trying to slow it down. Sunset is officially revealed. It's a fight for 2nd and 3rd place. A pulsing infestation pit trying to hold on, but I don't think it can. Congratulations to Youngstar. He did not have an easy time of this. Sunset's gonna knurl his opponent a final time. 80 hit points left. 60, 40, 20. There it is. The sun is set on Sunset. He comes in 3rd. The silver medal's gonna belong to B, for he can no longer be. To be or not to be, he's definitely gonna elect to not be. He keeps energizing his citadel to slow down its destruction, but it's not gonna make a difference. Youngstar has a nexus that is not situated in a pit of fire. And at this phase of the game, that's a pretty big deal. Congratulations to B though, cause he really showed us the power of Meridians in this game. I don't know about you, but I feel inspired to make a huge pack of Meridians and go deliver the smackdown on some poor unsuspecting player. Peace out, B. Well fought. He took out more players than anyone else. But the trophy will go to Youngstar. Hey, the lava agrees with me. Well, another special thanks to Alex007 for organizing a fantastic game. I think I'm understanding why everybody in the Eastern European Starcraft scene loves the guy. From my base to yours, Zugzwang out! To continue your Starcraft journey, Nova advises you to click the video in the upper rectangle. But Kerrigan warns you to watch your 6 and click the video in the bottom rectangle. Or you can stimpack your Starcraft experience. Subscribe to Zugzwang Starcraft. Just hit the circle. From my base to yours, Zugzwang out.